J.P. Morgan, one of the most powerful figures in American finance, was born into privilege on April 17, 1837, in Hartford, Connecticut. His full name was John Pierpont Morgan, and his father, Junius Spencer Morgan, was a successful international banker. From the start, Morgan's life was filled with wealth and opportunity, but it wasn't without challenges. As a child, Morgan suffered from serious health issues, especially rheumatic fever, which often left him bedridden for long periods. Despite these setbacks, his ambition and intelligence remained strong, shaping him into one of the most influential financiers in history. Morgan's father played a crucial role in his education and career. Junius Morgan ensured that his son had the best schooling possible, knowing that a solid education would be the key to succeeding in the world of finance. J.P. Morgan first attended Hartford Public School and later Boston's English High School, which emphasized mathematics, a subject essential for a future banker. But his education didn't stop there. In 1854, at the age of 17, his father sent him to Europe to continue his studies. He enrolled at the University of Göttingen in Germany, where he not only excelled academically, but also learned French and German, languages that would be vital in his later international business dealings. This rigorous education gave Morgan a strong foundation for his future. His time in Europe also exposed him to international finance and different economic systems, broadening his understanding of banking. While his health problems continued to be a challenge, Morgan's determination to succeed pushed him forward. He combined his education with the real-world experience he gained through his father's banking connections, preparing him for the financial world he would soon dominate. Growing up, Morgan had a front-row seat to the world of banking through his father's involvement with George Peabody and Company, a prominent merchant banking firm in London. From a young age, he was exposed to high-level discussions about finance, investments, and economic trends, giving him a deep understanding of how the financial world worked. By the time he was ready to start his own career, Morgan had not only a strong academic background, but also valuable insights into the workings of international finance. After completing his education and returning to the United States, Morgan began his career working for his father's firm on Wall Street. He quickly made a name for himself with his bold financial decisions. One early example of this was when he bought a large shipment of coffee in New Orleans during a time of market uncertainty. While other bankers hesitated, Morgan saw an opportunity and took the risk, ultimately making a significant profit. This willingness to take calculated risks would become a hallmark of Morgan's business style throughout his career. At the age of 24, confident in his abilities, Morgan took the bold step of starting his own company, J.P. Morgan and Company. This was a major turning point in his life, marking the beginning of his rise to becoming one of the most influential figures in American finance. However, his early business ventures were not without controversy. During the American Civil War, Morgan saw opportunities to make large profits through deals that many considered unethical. He was accused of war profiteering, particularly when he made money from selling defective rifles to the U.S. government. One of the most notorious incidents of Morgan's early career involved his purchase of 5,000 defective rifles from the government at a low price, which he then resold to the military at a high markup. These rifles, known as Hall's carbines, were old and unsafe, and the scandal that followed earned Morgan harsh criticism. Despite the controversy, Morgan's reputation as a smart and ruthless businessman remained intact. In fact, the incident demonstrated his ability to thrive in high-stakes situations, even if it meant taking actions that were ethically questionable. These early experiences shaped Morgan's business philosophy. He was not afraid to take risks or make decisions that others might avoid. Even when his actions attracted criticism, he remained focused on his goal of building wealth and influence. His aggressive approach to business allowed him to succeed in a highly competitive financial world, and he quickly became one of the most powerful figures in American finance. Morgan's father had set the stage for his son's success, ensuring that JP was not only well-educated, but also deeply familiar with the world of banking. By the time he launched his own firm, J.P. Morgan and Company, Morgan was fully prepared to navigate the complex world of finance. His early experiences, both the challenges of his health and the opportunities provided by his privileged upbringing, prepared him for the critical role he would play in shaping the American financial system. Throughout his life, Morgan's health problems continued to be a challenge, but they never stopped him from pursuing his goals. His education, international experience, and family connections gave him a unique advantage, allowing him to rise to the top of the financial world. Morgan's early career laid the foundation for the vast financial empire he would later build. He would go on to play a major role in consolidating industries, stabilizing financial markets, and shaping the modern American economy, leaving a lasting legacy as one of the most powerful and influential financiers in history. During the financial crises of 1893 and 1907, J.P. Morgan became a key figure in stabilizing the American economy. Both crises were marked by widespread panic, bank failures, and loss of public confidence. Morgan's decisive actions during these times were crucial in preventing economic collapse, proving his influence and ability to step in when the government and financial institutions were powerless. The Panic of 1893 was one of the worst economic depressions in U.S. history, caused by overexpansion in railroads and risky investments. Many banks and businesses failed, and the U.S. Treasury faced a dangerous shortage of gold, which was needed to back the U.S. dollar under the gold standard. The fear of the government defaulting on its obligations led to even more panic. In this dire situation, Morgan stepped in to save the U.S. government's gold reserves. In 1895, he worked with European banking houses to organize the sale of $65 million in U.S. gold bonds to European investors. This foreign gold helped stabilize the Treasury, restoring confidence in the U.S. dollar and preventing a complete economic collapse. At the time, the U.S. had no central bank, so Morgan's intervention filled that role, stabilizing the financial system in a way the government couldn't. The Panic of 1907, however, was the event that truly solidified Morgan's reputation as a financial savior. This crisis began when speculators tried to corner the market on copper, causing several banks and trust companies to fail. Panic spread through the financial system, and with no central bank, the economy was on the brink of disaster. Morgan, now the most powerful financier in the country, took swift action. He gathered the heads of major banks, trust companies, and financial institutions in New York, holding meetings at his private library. Morgan acted as a central authority, convincing rival bankers to pool their resources to save banks that were close to collapse. He even used his own money to help stabilize key institutions. His efforts prevented the crisis from spiraling out of control. One key moment in the 1907 crisis was Morgan's role in saving the Trust Company of America, which was experiencing a bank run. Morgan personally organized a group of financiers to inject millions of dollars into the trust company, calming the public and stopping further panic. His leadership and ability to mobilize resources not only saved the banking system, but also restored confidence in the broader economy. Morgan's actions during both crises highlighted the need for a central banking system in the U.S., which eventually led to the creation of the Federal Reserve in 1913. His interventions were critical in averting disaster and stabilizing the economy during two of the darkest periods in American financial history. These events also cemented his legacy as one of the most powerful and influential financiers in American history. In addition to his role during financial crises, Morgan made a significant mark on American industry. In 1901, he orchestrated the purchase of Carnegie Steel from industrialist Andrew Carnegie for $480 million, a staggering sum at the time. This deal was not just about buying a single company. Morgan aimed to consolidate the steel industry, as he had done with railroads. Carnegie Steel was already the largest and most profitable steel company in the world, and Carnegie, the dominant figure in the steel industry, was ready to retire. Morgan saw this as an opportunity. Rather than simply acquiring Carnegie's business, Morgan merged it with other smaller steel companies to create U.S. Steel, the world's first billion-dollar corporation. U.S. Steel controlled nearly two-thirds of all steel production in the U.S. and played a crucial role in the country's rapid industrialization. Steel was essential for building railroads, bridges, and machinery, making Morgan's control over the industry both highly profitable and strategically important. J.P. Morgan's ability to consolidate industries and stabilize the economy made him one of the most powerful men in the world. His actions during the financial crises of 1893 and 1907, as well as his creation of U.S. Steel, left a lasting impact on the American economy, shaping it in ways that are still felt today.